Whoa, jingle! Happy time has just begun. Brother, sister, smart, dumb, fun. Yeah!
Hot tub now. But I ain't got hot tub. Hey, Aunt Brothers, what are you doing?
I am dancing.
You sure are. Why, Ann, you look like a graduate of the Aunt Patty School of Dance.
Well,
Dance.
next weekend, I'm going to be at a wedding where there will be dancing, I'm sure. And so I have to practice my moves. Everybody loves to see a woman in her mid-50s dance at a wedding.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. So basic. So awesome. Look at you go. I mean, seriously.
Seriously.
Got the overbite going. You've got something
Exactly.
extra, too, because you got the gap.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. It's like
Yeah.
feeling the breeze between my teeth.
Ann Brothers, setting the standard for sexiness since 1969.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly. As
Mhm.
my birth year insinuates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's all you had to shit, girl. That's all you had to say. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hey, happy Memorial Day weekendish. Yeah, I guess it is. It's Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day weekend.
I know. I keep
Uh,
forgetting it's Memorial Day weekend. It's very quiet
which is
around
ironic. So,
Mhm.
special thank you to all of our veterans. Thank you for serving. Thank you for making the ultimate sacrifice for a bunch of dummies like me. So,
Yeah.
which includes our dad. Thanks, Dad, for serving.
Thanks,
We
Dad.
appreciate you. We
Thank
love
you,
you.
Aunt Vicky.
So,
Aunt Vicky is
thank
also a veteran. Or Aunt
Yep.
Vicky.
Also, the Army dad, veteran of the Air Force. So, and again, remembering those that we lost during our wars and conflicts in the past, and yeah, so that message can oftentimes get steamrolled by the fact that it's a 3-day weekend and the official entrance of the summer season. So, just
And
wanted to throw that.
washers and dryers are on sale all over America.
That is correct. That is correct. So, so buried, bury all that and just remember why we're here, why we have that
Mhm.
extra day off. So, thank you for your service, everybody. So, uh, yeah. And so, Anne, tell me about your Sunday, 'cause I know you spent a decent amount of your Sunday outdoors doing stuff. What'd you do?
Well, the last 2 days, because I had Saturday off, and then
Mm,
today's Sunday. I do have to work tomorrow, so there you go. So I got 2 of the 3 days off. But,
nice.
yeah, man, I have little bean and squash plants coming up everywhere, and I needed to weed, and I have a big flower pot garden, and about every 3 years, I need to change out my soil because it just, it loses its impact. So I've been doing that, emptying all my, flower pots. Oof.
What do you do
Boy,
with
it
your
was
dirt?
I have fallow, raised beds that I don't plant in. I rotate it. So all my fallow beds got all a bunch of new soil this year.
All right.
I got
Nature
them
gonna
all
do its thing on your soil.
exactly. So I got all my flower pots emptied. I got everything reset and cleaned out. Now I just have to fill them all back up. So that'll be super fun. But yeah, so
Mhm.
I got all my weeding done for the moment because that is a constant thing you do all summer. But that's all
Absolutely.
set for the moment before we go leave for Duluth later this week. And yeah, so that's what I've done. Like I spent the last 48 hours doing yard stuff, trying to get as much yard stuff, garden stuff done as possible before we
Nice.
leave. So how about you?
Cool. Well, today I cleaned I cleaned the garage out, and I cleaned out the shed. So then I swapped, I put all the winter stuff in the shed and brought the summer stuff into the garage, which took some time because it was kind of a mess. And
Mhm.
then I swept and shop vac to the garage so it is pristine. I set up all my charging stations on my little shelf in my garage so that my battery operated yard utensils would be ready. Then I took down all of the Christmas lights off of now. Don't get all like you took your Christmas lights. We have Christmas lights that we do all year. That's kind of our porch light. But I took them all down today so that I could power wash my porch. So I basically power washed all of the front of the house. including all of my pillars. And what I learned from that experience is that I need to paint the pillars. It's time. They need a coat of paint. They're getting
Yeah.
dingy. So
Mhm.
probably we'll work on that later in the summer once I get my parents moved in. Because yes, that is now 1 month and 1 day away. So I know.
It's happening.
It is happening. So
Mhm.
that's been a year-long process getting all that ready, but wanted to take some time. Now tomorrow I will weed my front beds and I will trim the hedges in my front yard. And we have a bunch of branches from a storm that we had back in January. I'm gonna drag those out to the front curb because we have special branch pickup because of the storms um, a couple of weeks ago. So we have special branch pickup on Tuesday, and I'm gonna get in on that. I had a close encounter with our groundhog, Blondie, today.
Oh.
So nothing bad. So
Mhm.
for those of you that don't know, I have two groundhogs that reside in my backyard. I know I shouldn't have them there. They're naughty. They dig stuff. They're bad. They're not digging under my house. So I don't really consider it to be a red alert, but we've got a fairly large dig area where they kind of tunnel in and out underneath our fence. And I was putting the wheelbarrow back in the shed today, and I kind of caught something out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, "There's a groundhog over there." So I'm maybe 10, 15 feet from the fence. So I then put the lawnmower in the shed and I look over and there's Blondie looking at me from the hole, like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And we stared at each other. And then I locked up the shed and then I left. So that was it. And then we had a visit from Oliver, our black cat, who we fed today. Have I told you about Oliver?
Yes.
So he was back today.
Mhm.
He got some fancy feast today. He was very excited. So, you know,
Exactly.
that's
He's a
right.
fancy kitty with some fancy
He
feast.
is he got his fancy feast today, and I think he wanted more, but we gave him a whole can. So, but it's just one of the little cans.
Right.
So that means I got to go out and start getting some cat food for Oliver. So
Well, and now he's just gonna have to keep coming back.
he's cute. He's a nice kitty. So
Mhm.
it's pretty. He's a gorgeous black kitty. So
I'm a sucker for a black kitty, so
I know,
there you
I
go.
know. I named him Oliver because he looks like a black olive. See what I did there?
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
cute.
I know, I know. I'm good at naming cats. That's one of my talents. So there you go. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, yes. All right. So anyway, today, if you were joining us, as you can see, we are off to an excellent start. We're basically talking about stupid crap we found in the news this week. I mean,
Mhm.
the news is kind of a horror show right now. So I spent more time than I should looking at Yahoo News because
Mhm.
there's so much fucking garbage on it. I can't help it. And in case you were wondering about just garbage places to look at stuff. Yahoo News is like top. As far as I'm concerned, there is no better place to just look for garbage news than Yahoo News. It's the best of the best. You can also go to TMZ, people.com website, but in terms of just the vast, endless array of bullshit, it's Yahoo News, and then it's the comments that go with the articles on Yahoo News that are even better. So, yeah, I would call that a guilty pleasure for me.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, if there's nothing more pathetic than Yahoo News than commenting about Yahoo News. I mean, like,
That's what makes me laugh more than anything, and
ugh.
the comments are just, oh my god, yeah, it's amazing. "This
Mhm.
article sucked. I read the whole thing. Now I'm gonna comment on it. Yahoo News is consistently terrible." And yet here you are. They're like, "Yahoo News is the worst." I'm like, "Well, why are you reading and commenting on it then?" There are
Yeah, it's the
bazillion
worst, but
totally. I'm like, "There's a
oh.
million other places where you can get news."
Mhm.
So,
No
mm,
kidding. Ugh.
mm, good stuff. So Ann and I, what we decided to do is we both scoured the internet for important stories that we felt we should share with you. And I went down some deep ass rabbit holes on some of these things.
I did
For
not. I
instance,
stayed
yeah.
very surface.
For instance, today I learned about courier lottery. So, like, you can buy your lottery tickets from a courier, an online courier. But in Texas, they made them illegal. So, a woman who they made them illegal in like April, but a woman bought a lottery ticket through a courier service in February and won. And now Texas doesn't want to give her winnings because of this law, even though she bought the ticket. And this is like $58 million worth of, this isn't like $1,000 scratcher. This is $58 million worth of lottery money that she won. And they don't want to pay her because She used a courier service. Yeah. Again, I spent 35 minutes reading through that and like looking up what a courier service and which
Yeah.
states this is illegal and which states do this and which states regulate it. So yeah, I know, rabbit hole.
Wow. Wow. I had no
Yeah.
idea. It's like, even if it was just $1,000, I still want my fucking money.
Yeah, and she's suing and she'll win because there's no reason for her not to win because she, like yeah, there's a state law, but she bought her tickets months before the state law took effect. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's bad. It's
exactly. It wasn't
ridiculous.
it wasn't
Yeah.
illegal when she did it.
Mm-mm.
So, a courier. Does
Pay
a
that
courier get any
woman a
money?
penny. Know how that works.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't know how it all works. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they get a cut
Mhm.
of that.
I
Yeah.
hope so. Otherwise, why be a courier?
Totes true. Totes true. So yeah, so let's dig into this, shall we, Ann
Okay.
Brothers?
Uh-huh.
I loved your headline, all the news that's not fit to print with the Brother Sisters. It's not fit to print, and yet it still gets printed.
And then it's still there. Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
part of the 24-hour news cycle. This is all CNN's fault and Headline News
Mhm.
and Ted Turner's fault because back in
Mhm.
the early 80s when we started having cable news that was, this 24-hour all news all the time, yeah, it became this, hey, we have to fill everybody's heads 24/7, and here we are now. It's
And here's the
grand.
garbage we did it with. So,
Here's the garbage news, yes. So
Mhm.
anyway, Anne, would you care to welcome back our viewers/listeners?
Welcome back. Or welcome. It's Anne and Janice Brothers. Yes, we are sisters, and our last name is Brothers, and we are back, in case you didn't notice. Ta-da! We are in our 50s, which means we are Generation X, which also means that all our pajamas were flammable. That is actually a true thing. That
Yes.
our jammies could catch on fire and stay on fire, and that was just what you did. You bought flammable jammies for your children.
No cotton for us. Cotton's expensive, but you know what's
Cotton's
not?
expensive.
Rayon.
Rayon, exactly. Exactly. So yes, Generation X, our jammies were flammable. We're going to talk about smart stuff, dumb stuff, fun stuff, or any combination of the three. In case you haven't noticed that already, we're not a
I'm gonna interrupt you. I'm sorry, Anne. I want to go
yes.
back to the pajama conversation because, for the record, is there anything worse than a nightgown?
No, I hated nightgowns, and I'm a dress and skirt
too.
person. I'm a dress and skirt. I love me a dress and or a skirt, and I did not like nightgowns. I like shorts or jammy pants or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was the day that I no longer had to wear pajamas and I could just wear a pair of shorts and a t-shirt to bed was literally one of the 10 greatest days of my life
yeah,
because nightgowns are A, they were all rayon, and B, like you'd wake up in the middle of the night just twisted in this corkscrew of nightgown, the worst. So,
yeah.
sorry.
No,
Yeah.
no, I
Sorry.
understand
Yeah. I don't know how anybody does that. Sorry,
exactly. So
I interrupted you. So,
your legs are all twisted up in your flammable nightgown. It's a death trap.
yes.
Nightgowns were a death trap. Anyway, we're not cool,
I
hip,
need
or
that on a
sexy.
t-shirt. Nightgowns were a death trap.
So we're not cool, hip, or
Mhm.
sexy. And we know this because of the answer to the following questions. Jenny, answer these following questions.
I'm
1,
ready.
casino or bookstore?
Bookstore.
Nightclub or bakery?
Bakery.
Water park or nature trail?
Nature trail.
See, we're not cool, hip, or sexy because
Fucking aced that test. I aced it.
the cool, hip, and sexy answers are the ones that we do not give.
Okay, for the record though, why would anybody go to a water park? That's like it's like a place where you go and you buy tickets to get a waterborne illness. No, thank you.
Yeah,
No,
and
thank
there's
you.
whole cruise ships dedicated to being the largest floating water park on the ocean. And I was like, could you just say toilet bowl on top of toilet bowl? Can you just say that?
E. coli for everybody. No, I had a friend of mine back in the day. She picked up cryptosporidium, which is a really nasty parasite at a water park. She caught a mouthful of water while at the water park and immediately got a parasite, and it affected her for months. And so not only was it terrible, the parasite was terrible, but the treatment was as terrible because they had to give her this really terrible tasting medicine that would keep repeating itself back. Yeah, it was bad.
That's
So
because they
yeah,
have to
ew.
poison the food source. And like, if you're a
Oh,
home for a parasite, they got to poison you so they can poison the parasite.
yeah, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are risks in life. That doesn't matter where you go, but I just feel like you're just stacking it. You're just stacking risk on top of risk when you go to a water park. God, I'm like, ooh, I could drown and get a waterborne disease. Yay!
Yay, exactly. Oh man. So
Mm.
anyway, as I continue, we're not a true crime celebrity or influencer podcast. I know I'm not, we're not one of those things because we just get bored listening to the same thing over and over again. So, this is why we have a podcast like this, because we don't want you to get bored either. So
No,
welcome.
even though, Anne, I am still completely obsessed with the Karen Reed trial right now. I'm
Hmm.
going to talk a little bit about that as we talk about our trash news. But
Yeah,
I'm like, I literally could talk about that a lot because it's fascinating.
because it's
So,
fascinating.
and we'll get to that. So yeah.
So we've been told we're good to listen to when you want to learn things about stuff and you need a little more joy in your life because we will bring you some joy. So there you go.
Totes joy. So yeah, good.
This podcast is not GPG or even PG-13. We're going to be talking about some crazy fucking shit today. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's your warning. Like us,
Um,
follow us, hit the bell, leave us a review. Yes, Jenny?
I was just gonna say, it's okay to swear. Swearing's okay. You're not gonna go to hell if you swear. Pretty sure.
Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty sure there's no hell. Anyway, pretty sure we're already in hell. Join us on our website, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. And you can ask Alexa to play us, and she will do it because she's cool.
She is cool. She's awesome.
She is hip, smart, and sexy. Mhm.
Yep. Agreed. So yeah, as you said, smash that button, like us, follow us, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. So there you go. Yeah. So as always, we have stuff that we talk about that's smart, dumb, and fun from the week. And what you got for me this week?
That's smart, dumb, and fun.
Mhm.
I did something fun and smart. I went with my friend Dawn. We went to the Tandoori Corner in Ypsilanti, which is a new Pakistani restaurant in Ypsilanti.
Ooh.
And we had Pershari Chepel kebab lamb, which was a lamb kebab. And they don't
Not
do
meat.
like the grilled meat lamb kebab. They're like patties. Oh, Jenny, it
Oh.
was so good. And then we also got the Tindiri Siki kebab chicken. So we got the chicken and the lamb. And then we got garlic naan. It was so delicious. A little bit spicy at the end. Oh my gosh. The food was amazing. I can't wait to go back there. So my friend Dawn, she had not been there before, but she has a friend at work who is from Pakistan, and she makes her fun food. And she said this was the best Pakistani restaurant. So Dawn's like, we have to go there because somebody from Pakistan said this was the best Pakistani restaurant. So we did.
That sounds
And
awesome.
Ypsilanti's fun. I lived in Ypsilanti for over 20 years, and I love Ypsi. And when I lived there, it was it had so much potential and it wasn't quite living up to it. And now it's cool, hip, and trendy. And so there you go, a place where a Pakistani restaurant, you can get Pakistani takeout.
Ypsilanti lives. That's all I
It
know.
it lives.
It's
So that
great.
was my smart fun thing that I did this week.
Nice. I poured over the archives of my week this week, and honestly, I'm in that time of year as a teacher. We're in the part of the year where you just kind of put your head down and grind it. But our union, the lovely people at the Matawan Education Association, bought us chin chin lunch on Friday. So we had a half day of school with students, and then we had our second half of our day, which was meetings and professional development. But from 11 to 12, the union treated us to Chin Chin Lunch, which was great. Chin Chin is a little Asian restaurant in Matawan, Michigan that is spectacular. They do an incredible job. And it's just, if you didn't know, you don't know unless you know, because it's just this tiny little place in a strip mall next to the Main Street Pub in Matawan. And they make the most wonderful Asian cuisine. And They had kung pao chicken and beef and broccoli, and they had spring rolls, and they had rangoons, and it was amazing. And it really is the most wonderful time of the year.
It's like on 30 Rock when it's sandwich day.
Oh, yes, that's exactly what it was. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
They
That's
make
one
the
of mine
most
too.
wonderful
Sandwiches.
sandwiches. Where's my sandwich?
Exactly. And it's like, I remember when I was teaching and it was like, the best thing that happened to me this week was when I got to eat something. And I was like, oh man. And in May, that's definitely how it is. You're like, I'm just trying, I'm just wishing I would take, in May, I'd be like, I would take a 10 grand pay cut if they would just let me have a cattle prod in May.
Well, I've been saying this for years, and I'm a little bit jealous because I taught in Colorado for a long time, and Colorado does it right. They start with kids mid-August, so they're done. They finished up this last week, and I'm like,
Oh,
God bless America. That's the greatest. It really is because when you start in mid-August like that, it means that when you break for Christmas, you're done for the semester, which your semester is over, which is fantastic. It's a perfect way to finish up. You do your finals, you're done. It's great. And then when you come back, it's a whole new semester. And they don't do that in Michigan because Michigan is Michigan.
mhm.
Uh, and again, I've been saying this for years. The education's calendar is completely fucked up anyway, so it still is. And so May just becomes this horror show. It literally is the longest month of your entire life,
Mhm.
which is
It
a
is.
shame because it's such a lovely month, and it's just one
Mhm.
of those things. October's the same way. October and May are the two hardest months in education, and for you just kind of grind through it. But so it was nice to the 23rd of May had been circled on my calendar for weeks because honestly, I feel like it was one of those, I feel like if I can get to the 23rd, I can make it.
Exactly. I can do this. I can do
I can
it.
do this. So yeah, so it was a really nice treat. Thank you to the Madawana Education Association for putting that together because it really is nice. They had a big raffle with a bunch of prizes too that they got donations, and so just a really nice way to spend it. And then we went back and I got to listen to a very informative meeting on because our science department is getting new resources next year. So
Mm,
we got to sit in on a presentation from something called Lab Aids. It was nice. It was a nice presentation. They had good stuff. I liked it. So
okay.
there you go. Yeah. All right, Ann Brothers. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just bring us back up here. That I don't really need
Mhm.
to show the screen. So, all right, so let's just go back and forth, shall we? Ann,
Perfect.
now do you have this open on your computer?
I have all my notes in front of
You have
me.
all your notes. Okay.
I have all my
So,
notes.
Ann, I'm gonna start. So what we did is we each found a handful of things to talk about,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna start if that's okay.
Sure.
Because with the weirdness of our current time and talk of a recession, and something caught my eye this week on where else? Yahoo News, called recession hair, and apparently recession hair is back.
Oh.
I know, I know.
Mhm.
If you're not familiar with what recession hair is apparently um, something that happens. I'm going to go ahead and put this back up here. Recession here is this. So the way it works is that it's a recession. You don't have as much money, so you can't get your hair treated like it normally would be. So with recession hair, women they get their hair colored less, so we see more longer roots. That's recession hair. Now, this apparently was the thing back in the 2008 shit show that was America with the housing market crash and all that. So apparently that became sort of a thing, and women just embraced it and said, "Yeah, this is the way my hair looks. This is my recession hair." So apparently recession hair is making a comeback in these uncertain times.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
Speaking of somebody who does not color their hair, if that is not already obvious to you, maybe I always looked like I had recession hair. Like, oh, she's really letting her. When will she cover up her white again? I'm like, never. Sometimes I would make it purple, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't have I don't have I don't color my hair either. I've just been late to the game in graying because I got mom's hair.
Mhm.
So my mom's people they're all Southern European. They don't gray particularly fast, so I seem to have picked that up. I got it's funny where I'm going most gray is my eyebrows. I'm getting these amazing Gandalf eyebrows. It is. I'm gonna have my like brown hair and these big old white eyebrows that have their own zip code. Like, you shall not pass.
There you go.
Sorry.
It's all funny. See, that's funny because my eyebrows are still quite dark. I'm
Ah.
not really getting white in my eyebrows, but my hair, I mean, my hair started going white when I was a teenager. So, yeah, it's just
No,
the natural progression.
there have been other indicators of my age. For instance, Anne, this is my favorite. You ready?
I'm
I
ready.
can't pluck my eyebrows without my glasses anymore. I know. I went to pluck my eyebrows the other day, and I took my glasses off, and I was like, "Ah, fuck me." And I put
I
it back on.
can't see my eye. Well,
can't
Jenny, if you
fucking
can't
my-
see him, it must not be there.
It must not be there. And honestly, I never really care. I've never cared anyway. But again, I had a Gandalf coming in, so I'm
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I gotta go get that Gandalf." So I took my glasses off, and then I couldn't see it. I'm like, "It's not there. It doesn't
not
exist." So yeah. I
Ah,
don't
there
have
you go.
gray hair, but I have gray eyes.
Gray
So
eyes,
there
there
you
you
go. Fun,
There
fun,
you go.
fun. Yeah. All right,
Um,
and let's do yours.
Well, I got a lot of my news from Google News, and
Oh, nice.
they don't put like they don't have like specifically their news, but they gather news from all over the place based on my algorithm and what they think I might or might not be interested in. And it's finally managed not to give me any sports shit because I kept yelling at it. I'm like, no sports, no sports. So finally, after 3 years, I don't get any more sports news. But I did learn, Johnny, the Lansing Journal, Lansing State Journal, which is our Lansing, Michigan, which is the state capital of Michigan. I
Fun
wanted you
fact.
to know that the Lansing Olive Burger Festival is being canceled for this year. That 2025
Oh.
should have been the third annual Olive Burger Festival, but it's being canceled this year. They're reorganizing. Last year, the second year, they had 1,800 people come, but they still lost $5,000. So they're like reorganizing. And then the first year, they had 2,500 people show up for the Olive Burger Festival. But not only are they reorganizing, it seems as though their head organizer is not going to be in town during that weekend where they were supposed to have it. So if you were planning on going to the Olive Burger Festival in Lansing, Michigan in September of this year, it has been canceled. So take that off your calendar. Mhm.
Well,
Yes, Jeremy?
okay, if I'm being honest, I did not know there was an Olive Burger Festival in the state of Michigan.
Well, there is, and I think Jenny that if we are still on this earth next in 2026, that we should try to go to the Olive Burger Festival in September in 2026. But
Yeah,
we'll
because I
see if it
love
comes
me
back.
yeah. I love me a good Olive Burger. In Michigan, actually, it's kind of a thing. I don't know if Olive Burgers are a thing everywhere,
Mhm.
but Olive Burgers are definitely a thing in the state of Michigan. And let's be clear on something, Ed Brothers, that an Olive Burger is made with green olives. Um, I have some I have a grudge against Bell. Actually, I have more than one. The first is that they sold and their beer is terrible now. Well, Duncan would probably tell you that it's always been terrible, but it is genuinely terrible now. And the other is that we went to Bell's for a show because they have a little amphitheater because Bell's is stationed right here in beautiful scenic Kalamazoo, and they have a really nice little theater. And so we went to a show. You and Duncan came, and we went to this great show, and we had dinner at the cafe. And their cafe actually is really good.
Mhm.
Um, and I ordered an olive burger, and they brought me an olive burger with black olives, and I will never, ever forgive them for that.
Yeah,
Ever.
yeah. I was going to
I
say,
may never drink another Bell's beer. Well, I probably won't because their beer's shit now. But I will definitely. That hurt my feelings. That hurt me deep. That cut me deep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I agree. Green olives and cheeseburgers are an excellent combination.
Mhm.
Maybe one of the best, well, I don't know, probably not as good as chocolate and peanut butter combination, but it's a very good combination. And unfortunately, we will not be able to participate in the Lansing Olive Burger Festival this year. So
Yeah. No. No.
there. So
All right. So I'm
Jenny,
gonna piggyback. I'm gonna
uh-huh.
piggyback on your burger thing, and I got distracted. I saw something pop up on the Yahoo News, and it was their. Hang on, let me find it here. Here it is. They posted Yelp's top 25 burger chains in America. And so I set myself down that rabbit hole. And really, I mean, honestly, it was a very disappointing list because Yelp itself is, straight trash because the people that post on Yelp are the same people that post their comments on Yahoo News. Just saying.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, you gotta take anything that's on Yelp with a grain of salt. So this was Yelp's top 10 burger chains in the United States. Number 1 is In-N-Out Burger. Number 2 is the Habit Burger Grill. Number 3 is Shake Shack. Number 4 is Culver's. Number 5 is Islands Restaurant. Number 6 is Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers. Number 7 was Five Guys. Number 8 is Wayback. Number 9 is Mooyah Burgers. And number 10 is Red Robin. I won't go into the other list. That all I know is that this list is not great because McDonald's is on the list. McDonald's is in the top 25, and I'm like, oh, how can McDonald's be in the top 25, but Blake's Lotta Burger's not in the top 25? Come on, man.
Yeah, that's a good question. Sorry.
Straight trash. Yeah, so I spent a lot of time considering that, thinking about it, considering it some more, thinking about it, and then I thought to myself, I don't like this list because it's Yelp. So I went digging deeper because, like I said, I deep dove into some of this. And the next one I came up with was the Food Network's top 100 burgers in America. So I wanted to take a look at that list and see if Michigan made any of that. And there was actually 2 Michigan burger establishments that made the Food Network top 100 burgers in America, both in Detroit, which I think is, Detroit's sexy. I get it. The first one is that the Grey Ghost in Detroit. And according to my sister, Grey Ghost is a fancy restaurant, which means you'll be paying $32 for that burger. I'm not above that. I've done that,
Yeah, it's when you said Grey Ghost, I was like, for burgers?
Yeah, I don't know,
Yeah,
like Grey Ghost for burgers.
because that's high
The
end.
other one, so I've never been to that one. The other one is Green Dot Stables, also in Detroit. I've also been to. And my husband would be the first person to tell you that they do not belong on that list for the simple fact, this is for you, Joe Peters, they do not toast their buns. And that set my husband off. So, and you know what though? He's not wrong. A toasted bun does make a difference. And so for him, that's been a no-brainer for years. That's, as far as he is concerned, Green Dot Stables is straight trash. So,
I wouldn't say Green Dot Stables is a fun place to go. I wouldn't call it straight trash, but I would not even put it in my top 10 burger.
No.
Their original slider is very delicious. They have they bought this place. It's like all 70s decor. They never updated it, so that's fun. And then everything is $3. So all the drinks are $3, all the burgers are $3, the fries, everything is $3. So that's kind of fun too. It's a fun place to go. It doesn't have great food. The food is good and the food is fine. The food is not top 10 or top 100 or man, if you want to come to Michigan, I will take you to 5 other burger places that are way fucking better than that. So
Yeah, I would agree. Green Dot Stables is a ton of fun. So, and you and I have homework. Are you ready?
oh, yeah.
All right. Our homework is that according to Food and Wine magazine, Food and Wine magazine picked, and so this was another one. Like I said, I rabbit holed a bunch of stuff this week. Food and Wine's best, what they did is they made a list of the best burger in each state. So for Michigan, they have said that for Michigan, we're back in Detroit, specifically in Delray, which if you've ever been to the Detroit area, Delray is a dump.
Delray has not and will never be touched by urban planning and or
Modern
gentrification.
world. No, yeah, Delray's fascinating to me because it
Yeah.
is this it's right. It'll be interesting to see what happens to Delray because of the Gordie Howe Bridge. So it's this little part. It's kind of south of the city, and it is a rough little stretch of
Mhm.
land. And we actually went there as part of one of the Detroit History Tour things, and we went to their sports club that they have there. Sports club. It's basically a bar that you have to be a member of.
Mhm. Exactly.
So yeah, it's Mott's. It's called Mott's, Motz'. It is in Delray, and how do they describe it? Which has outlasted pretty much every other commercial business in Hard Luck Delray. And that's exactly how you would describe Delray. It is a hard luck little rough scrabble area, just south of downtown, and we have to go there. We
Yeah,
have
no,
homework.
when I saw it was on Fort Street, I was like, oh. Fort Street in Detroit, I was like, oh.
Oh. Yeah, Yeah, that's a rough little hood, and we are going to listeners and fans of our show. We are going there. We are
Mhm.
going to brave Del Rey and go and check this out because why the hell wouldn't you?
Why the hell wouldn't we? The thing
Yeah.
is, there's not really a lot of crime in Delray because you have to have people to rob to have crime, and there's nobody there. So,
Well, and it's interesting because there were a lot of the people that bought up that there's a lot of Del Rey that's been bought out so that
Mhm.
they could build the Gordie Howe Bridge. But the people that still live there would not be bought out, thank you very
Mhm.
much. So they chose to stay. So like I said, this is a tough little neighborhood where
Just
people are like,
neighborhood.
nah, fuck your
Mhm.
bridge.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck your bridge. Fuck your money. Fuck you.
Exactly. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to go there. So we're going there.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. That's all I have to say. Piggybacking on your burgers,
Mhm.
I went down the burger rabbit hole because I love me a good burger. So
Mhm.
there you go.
There.
So all right.
Uh, well, my next bit of news is from Variety, and that was because Elle Fanning has been cast to play a young Effie Trinket in the Hunger Games, the next movie for the Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping. So I'm like,
Nice.
I think that if there is another book in the series, it's going to be about the history of Effie.
Oh, I love that.
I know. I was like, there's somebody I'd like to know about. Effie
Yeah.
Trinket. She gave a few, if you've read the book, she gave a little bit of the history of the Trinket family, and it has some characters in it, it would seem. So I
Yeah.
am so I was just like, oh, it was just a little blurb from Variety, it's like this. And then I checked, I did go down a teeny bit of rabbit hole to see who else has been cast in this movie. Nobody I knew, but they're all extremely good looking. So there you go.
There's actually a few that I really like. One of them was Kieran Culkin as Lucky Flickerman.
Oh yeah, I did like that one.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Caesar
a good
Flickerman,
one.
not Lucky.
Caesar
Lucky's
Flick-
his yeah. So Caesar Flickerman, which I
Mhm,
thought was a nice bit of casting.
mhm. I agree.
Uh, Ray Fiennes as young Snow.
Yeah, I
Younger
thought that
Snow.
was a good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, why did they cast Kiefer Sutherland as Snow? That because he would be about the right age at that point. And you're like,
That would be cool.
hmm.
That
I
would have been
know, I
cool.
know. That
That
would
would
have
have
been
been cool.
cool, but I don't know, maybe he had to make some other, crappy television show. So
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Maybe is there cowboy movies got to make? I don't know.
Yeah, that's funny.
So Jenny,
Yeah.
I did not go very deep in that. You went deeper than I did, and it wasn't even your story. So I was just like, oh, yay,
I
they're
know.
making it
Well, I
this
got,
movie. Mhm.
all right. So the next one I went with, this is a good one. This is from Instagram. This one is Pedro Pascal's arms at the Cannes
Oh,
Film Festival. Yeah, I know.
let's
So
let's see. Let's see his arms and the rest of
let's
him
let's
without a
go.
shirt
Let's go ahead and go there. There he is. Ah,
on. Oh, he's so cute.
so pretty. I know. Look at him. He's like all yeah. That was the big talk in Kansas that he showed up in this sleeveless number, and I'm like, hmm. Yeah. So
Mhm.
apparently his arms actually have their own Instagram page now. So I'm like, damn right they do.
Exactly. I was like, damn, you should never put those in his shirt. They should be out all the time.
All the time. That's how I feel about what's his name who played Thor. I'm like, he should never ever be in a movie that requires him to wear a shirt ever.
Never,
So,
never. It should be in his
no.
contract. So yeah, this is good.
Yes.
This makes me feel tingly. I like it.
Yeah, and I was
It's
like,
not
I
even
just
my
thought it was
gin and tonic.
hilarious.
Mhm.
No, and what I thought was funny was the length of the article that went with this, talking about. I'm like, that's the one thing about. I'm like, there was so much information in this about his arms and who he was wearing and what this was for, and I'm just like, this is hilarious.
He's having his moment. He's
You
having
know
his
what he is, and I'm all for anybody that is like, because he is just white hot right now. And for those of you that have followed Pedro Pascal's career, he kind of got his on the map when Netflix did a series about Escobar.
Mhm,
And so he was in that, and that kind of put him on the map. And then, of course, he was this beloved character on Game of Thrones, Oberyn Martell, who
mhm.
he was in season 4, and he's only in a couple of episodes, and he plays this great character in the show, and his death is very memorable.
Mhm.
And we all were like, we love you. Oh shit.
No, it's Oh, I was just getting to like him, you know?
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, well, and if you've not watched Game of Thrones, spoiler alert, he gets his head smushed by the mountain. Okay, good.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's
But
gruesome. Mhm.
yeah, and then so then he started getting cast. He got cast in The Mandalorian, and he has just been, of course, he's was cast in The Last of Us, and has just been in a bunch of stuff, and so he's everywhere, and
Mhm.
now his arms are everywhere.
Exactly. He's I like him. He seems smart. Ah,
Exactly,
mm.
exactly. So yeah, that was my other big piece of news, was Pedro Pascal's arms. So yeah, yeah. Hmm,
Well, Jenny, I have a little fashion news for us, and this is
I'm excited.
From People magazine.
Mm,
The author of this, and author is a very generous term for this article. The person who wrote this article wanted to let us know that floral prints are hot for the summer. And she
nice.
feels this way because both Gail King and Reese Witherspoon have inspired her to go buy more floral prints for the summer. And to quote Amanda Priestley from The Devil Wears Prada, florals for spring, groundbreaking. Yeah.
Well, shit. And I don't
Well,
have
shit.
anything in my black wardrobe that has florals in it. I have a Dolly Parton t-shirt,
There you go. She's the
but I don't
flower
have.
of country music. So there you
Yes, that
go.
is true.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, how are you set up for that, Anne? Are you set up for a summer of floral patterns?
I was like thinking, I was like, I have like two dresses that have floral prints. One, I'm not sure I'm going to wear it. I got it secondhand. I made it a little shorter. I'm like, now I'm not sure I like it. So,
And everybody will be wearing florals this summer. Why not
I'm
you?
hoping everybody wears florals this summer. So 3 years from now, when I go to the Salvation Army, I'll be able to pick up more of those florals. Because they'll be tired of them, and I'll be like, "Yay, florals! They're out of style." Yeah, yeah. So I saw that article, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so hilarious! You mean florals for summer? Oh my gosh!"
Well, and the nice thing about People, though, is that they do keep their articles fairly short.
Oh, it was very short.
Um, yeah, that's good because Yahoo News does not. Their
Mhm.
articles are stupid long,
Shockingly,
shockingly
shockingly
long.
long.
For instance, if we're talking about, all right, so do you have anything else to add about florals this summer?
No, Jenny,
Because if
I
not, I'm gonna.
literally don't
Okay,
because I'm like literally the article is like 5 sentences.
okay, that's good.
Mhm,
That sounds very People.
mhm.
One of my favorite sight gags from the show 30 Rock is when I think Liz is doing the People crossword. And it's like one down, one across.
That is
Yeah,
exactly it.
yeah. So
Uh,
there you go, People magazine. Well, and I have finally gotten an answer to a question that
mhm.
I have had, that everybody has, especially now that we are entering the summer season, now that we are entering hot dog season, if you will. We finally have an answer to why, when you buy hot dogs, they come in a 10-pack, but hot dog buns only come in an 8-pack.
Uh-huh.
Because you've experienced this phenomenon, I'm sure, where you buy a package of hot dogs and there's 10 hot dogs, and then you
Right.
buy the package of buns and there's only 8 fucking buns in there.
Right. So which means you always gotta
So,
buy more buns and then more hot
which
dogs and then more
means
buns.
yes. So the easy answer is to say, well, this is just a way to get you to buy more buns, and it is. Or there's actually a reason for this that's kind of accidental, and we've just never gotten around to changing it. So, hot dogs were not a thing for the longest time. And then when they became a thing, people would go to the butcher shop and they would buy their hot dogs. They didn't buy them by the dog, they bought them by the pound. So a 10-pack of hot dogs is about a pound, and that's how meat companies measure out their hot dogs. They basically say, pound of hot dog, this is the standard size for a hot dog. So when you buy hot dogs, it's a pound.
Hmm.
On the other hand, when bakeries, these big baking companies, the Wonder Breads, the Heinz's of the world, were making their, because hot dogs were, the whole idea that you would buy a pack of hot dogs was not a thing back in the day. You would go to the butcher and you would buy as many hot dogs as you wanted, and then when you'd go to the store, the buns just came in an 8-pack. So people would just go to the butcher, they would buy 8 hot dogs, and then they would have their buns to go with it. Well, then once people started buying packs of hot dogs, and this became a thing with like your Hormels and stuff. They would package it by the hot dog, they would package it by poundage. And as a result of that, your package of hot dogs would end up with 10 hot dogs in it. But because you had these big bakery companies that were already making molds of 8 buns, they didn't want to have to retool. So they didn't do it. So then we're just going to keep doing what we do because we've always done it that way. So you end
Oh,
up with this discrepancy in packaging. You have these two corporations that are like, yeah, we're not going to do anything about it. So they never did. So now here's the rub, though. The rub is this, Ann Brothers, that Canada has actually worked out a deal so that Wonder Bread in Canada is making packages, 10 packs of buns. So if you want to get a 10 pack of buns, you got to go to Canada to do it.
wow.
I know.
I was thinking with shrinkflation, though, they'll probably just start putting like 8 hot dogs in a package anyway. So, and then charging us still for 10.
They're gonna do that, and then they're gonna make it 6 buns instead of 8.
Yay.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the story that I read today, and whether it's bullshit or not, I have no idea. But it was again Yahoo News, and it was way too long. This was like a 5, 6, 7 minute read. I'm like, this is way too much. But I'm pretty sure that the dudes that write for Yahoo get paid by the word, and so there are
Mhm.
always these terrible, long, ridiculous articles. And then I'm sure I didn't read the comments on this one, which I'm kind of kicking myself because I'm sure by the time it was done, it would have been Trump's fault that there was only 8 buns, and or Biden's fault that there were 10 packs of hot dogs. So because it always devolves into that. No matter what you're reading, it could be about popsicles, and by the time you're done, it's Biden's fault or it's Trump's fault or let's go Brandon, or it's
Yeah. Yeah.
America.
I think I
America
read
at its
like
finest.
one article from Yahoo, and it was about this woman who had this terrible thing happen to her when she tried to sell her engagement ring from her ex-fiance, and I was like, it was stolen. And it took me 10 minutes to finally get through the entire story to let me know that he had stolen the ring and she had gotten arrested for having a stolen ring. And I was like, oh man. And I was like, yeah, I'm not looking at any more
Yeah,
anymore.
Yahoo's the
It's the worst.
absolute. Like I said, if you want to go, as far as I'm concerned, it's the best place ever to go for just shit, garbagey news. So yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. All right. So there you
Oh,
go. Now you know about 10 packs of hot dogs and 8 packs of buns.
there you
You're
go.
welcome, America.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Not going to be on the same page. You can't pay us to be on the same page. Okay. So my next thing comes from the Smithsonian Magazine and also from Frontiers in Ecology. So it was actually started in it was a Frontiers in Ecology article, and the Smithsonian Magazine decided to pick it up and talk about it. But it's about a Cooper's hawk, so a type of hawk that uses the crosswalk to hunt and kill and eat birds. And here's our little Cooper's hawk. Cooper's hawks like to eat birds. In fact, I've lost several chickens to Cooper's hawks. So yeah, they are all about eating other birds. But Vladimir Dinets, who is a zoologist at the University of Tennessee and an expert in animal behavior and intelligence, noticed this hawk. He was in New Jersey, and he noticed this hawk seemed to be using the crosswalk signals to hunt other birds. And so he went back to do some observations, and he ended up spending, I think, 18 hours observing this one bird. And the bird would wait up in a tree for somebody to come to a crosswalk and hit the button, to let, so that you could cross the walk. And the bird would wait for the sound because the crosswalk would make a sound, kind of letting like anybody who was hearing impaired or vision impaired, know that it was safe to cross. So they'd hit the button, it would make this noise, and that would alert the hawk. And it would wait for traffic to back up, so the cars to stop at the crosswalk, and it would get about 10 deep, and then the hawk would fly out of the tree really low near the cars so that it could disguise itself. It would be like using the cars as like a way to hide it, and then it would fly up high at 90 degrees and into this yard and attack the birds that were in the yard. So it turns out the family that lived in this house with a yard, they would like to eat their dinner outside, so there'd be crumbs all over the place, and it would attract small songbirds. And then the hawk, and he said the hawk had to it wouldn't be able to see where the house was because it was flying low by the car, so it'd have to like have visually memorized the layout of this so it could like fly low.
It's
So it
awesome.
was really a cool article, and I was like, look how smart that bird is. That bird is it's got it figured out. It's using tools. And there's other examples of like birds using traffic basically in order to get food. And that's what this Cooper's hawk was doing. It wasn't 100%, but it was effective enough that it was still using this technique because it worked. So
I
there
love
you
that.
go. Yeah. So
Uh,
Cooper's hawks.
Great example. Well, and it's interesting because if you look at evolution, look, I said the E word out loud because it's a real thing. That when you look at the mechanisms of evolution, it really is all about if you're a species that can adapt to your environment
Mhm.
and make yourself successful so that you could reproduce and send your little adaptations on to the next generation. This is a great example of that. That the
Yeah.
environment, because
Oh, we lost Jenny for a second. She's frozen in time.
let's face it, New
Yes.
Jersey is.
Oh, Jenny, we're losing you. Um,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
How about now? Am
So
I back?
you're back, but oh, now you're back. Yay, you're back. Yeah. So,
Thanks.
but you talked about like how Cooper's hawks, you don't usually find them in cities, and that this was another adaptation that was happening. That this hawk was probably not a native to this area, but had already figured out how to use the environment to its advantage. So,
Nice.
mhm.
Lisa Sammer is with us. Lisa Sammer, what's up?
Lisa!
We're so glad that you love that story. And what are we calling this? We're calling it, epigenetics. Nice. I
Epigenetics.
love
Yeah.
it. Let's
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So, in case you didn't think there would be some smart stuff on this story today, Ann Brothers is providing the smart stuff.
mhm. Well,
Good
that's
job, Ann
because
Brothers.
I like birds. And I was like, oh, what's this Cooper hawk doing? Is it eating somebody else's chickens?
Uh,
Mhm.
no, but it's
But
eating other birds.
it is.
Wow. So, and just remember, if it's eating other birds, it's not eating your chickens.
It is, and
So,
this one, and he had actually watched it snag a sparrow, and then he saw it one time with the mourning dove. So it was
nice.
working. It was working. His using the time in the cars based on the crosswalk and using it to hide himself. So sneak attack, sneak attack. Mhm.
Yes. Uh, yeah, I have one that hangs out. Actually, the one that hangs out in my yard, I believe, is a sharp-shinned hawk. But yeah, it feeds on. You love to eat the birds out there.
Mhm.
I have bird feeders that become bird
Bird,
feeders. See what I
bird,
did
bird
there?
eaters.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So we get a number of. We have one that nests not too far from us, behind my neighbor's house. So yeah. Hey, Lisa, it's so good to hear from you.
Indeed, indeed.
So
All right,
Jenny.
so I have one more, and I think you're gonna piggyback on this one as well, Anne.
Mhm,
So a couple of weeks ago, you came to my house and you helped me paint the bathroom upstairs,
mhm,
and we ended up not just painting, but when we were waiting for things to dry and waiting, you got me watching the series Body in the Snow,
mhm.
which is on HBO Max. Max. I think they've actually named okay, so it was HBO, then it was HBO Max. Now it's Max, and I think it's back to HBO Max.
It
So,
is. You're right, Jenny. Because marketing.
fuck's sake.
I know.
Because yeah. Anyway, anywho, Body in the Snow, the Karen Reed trial. So what, 2 years ago, Karen Reed was accused of murdering her boyfriend by backing into him with her SUV and leaving him to die in a snowstorm in Boston.
Mhm.
So anyway, spoiler alert, hung jury at the first trial. We're in the midst of the second trial. The prosecution is just finishing their portion of the trial, and I haven't been able to stop reading about it and wondering every day. I kind of check to see what's happening, check to see what's happening. So it looks to me like they're about done because this is week 5 of the retrial,
Mhm.
and I don't think they've done themselves any favor. They had the prosecution brought an expert witness this week that the defense tore to pieces because he lied about his credentials. He said he had a bachelor's degree in, oh, I can't remember what his degree is, but it turns out it was only his associate. He only has an associate's. He never finished the program. He went for his bachelor's and he never got it. So I'm like, already. For the record, I'm on Team Karen. I don't think she did it.
I don't know if she did it or not, but I know they haven't proved that she did it. In fact, when we were watching for her first trial, they couldn't even the coroner couldn't even say how this guy died. So I'm like, how can you accuse her of murder if you don't even know how he died? You know, so that was my. I was like, this woman is mildly unpleasant. She is a Karen. She really is.
She is not likable. That's one of the things I'm like right off the bat. When you were watching it, I'm like, that woman's a bitch. She
Yeah,
is.
she
She's not
is.
likable.
She's
But
not.
that doesn't mean she's a
Make her a
murderer.
murderer. Exactly. I'm
So
like, if I was on that jury, I'm like, there's no way I would have found her guilty. I'm like, you don't
no,
even know
no,
how
no,
he
no.
died. And the truth is they were both drunk. How do you know he didn't, fall backwards and hit his head and then die in the snow, which is, that never happens. So I just think they have done a terrible job and they're trying to convict her of second degree murder. I'm like, no,
Nope.
nope,
Not a chance.
mm-mm,
Not a
not a
chance. So
chance.
yeah, that's been the other thing that I've basically been that's really not news. I've been obsessing over that since I watched that stupid show with you, and now I'm like, I can't stop. I must know.
Mhm.
So, you know.
Yeah. So
But yeah, so anyway, if you're interested in learning more about this, go to HBO Max, HBO, whatever the fuck they call it now. Look for the show. It's a 4-parter, Body in the Snow, the Karen Reed trial. Yeah,
it's fascinating. It really
it
is.
is. It is. And it really is, especially because I think one of the things that's really scary about it is how poorly the police come off in this. They come
Yeah.
off as petulant and incompetent, and
Mhm.
maybe they're even murderers. Or I don't know that it. I don't know the case that's being presented as far as the cops, this being a cover up, because there's a lot of police involved in
Mhm.
this whole thing. That
Oh, yeah, because her
that
boyfriend was a Boston cop.
he was a Boston cop, and that's part of what's
Mhm.
happening is that you've got this sensational trial, you've got the police, yeah, you've got the city itself is um wait, what is it? Wait, you two watch Dying. Ooh, no, I haven't seen that.
No,
What's that
you haven't
about?
watched that. I've seen it
What's
I've
that?
seen it on HBO. I've seen, like, a thing for it, but I haven't checked it out, but
Oh,
it
now I
was
have to
on
know. What's that
Netflix.
about?
Was it on
What's that
Netflix or
about? Yeah.
HBO? Yeah, I think
Which
it's
one
on
is it on,
HBO.
Lisa? Which one is
I'm
it?
pretty sure it's HBO or
Okay.
HBO Max or Max or whatever.
According to Lisa, it's so good.
Good.
Okay.
Oh, yay.
Okay, number 1, where do I find it? Number 2, what's it about? So,
Mhm.
okay, there we go. Okay, I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Well, Jenny, we're running out of time, and I still have one more thing to talk about.
Okay, do it, talk about it.
Okay. So this was on our Kino News. I don't know, some news. Oh, she says it's on Hulu. There we go.
Hulu. Okay, very
I
good.
knew I'd
Got
seen it
that. I got
somewhere.
that going on right now.
Okay, so a medieval testicle dagger has been unearthed at a Swedish fortress. So this was the Gullberg Fortress, and it's a mid 1400s testicle dagger. So when I saw that, it was like the headline was medieval testicle dagger found in a fortress, and I was like, what is a testicle dagger? And I was
You must
thinking it was
know.
something to remove testicles, but no, Jenny. This is a quote, the testicle dagger with its distinctive hilt featuring two rounded testicular like decorations is believed by experts to have been worn in a manner befitting its suggestive shape.
Real
So,
quick, just
yeah,
throwing this out there so you can see it.
see the little
Yes.
testicle things right there? Yeah, so you would
It
wear
does. They
that.
look like penises. Look at that.
Yeah, it looks like a penis with testicles. And then who'd ever wear it would wear it like it was their penis. But I'm like, doesn't that make sitting down difficult? I mean, wouldn't you be afraid to cut off your penis with your testicle dagger? Also, if you want to, just wear your penis outside of your pants. I mean, if it's so important that we must know that you have testicles and a penis, just put them out. It would seem less dangerous than putting a dagger next to your penis and testicles. Duncan,
That
you're
thing.
a man. Would you put a dagger that close to your penis and testicles?
I would not.
Duncan says he would not put a sharp object like that so close to his jewels.
Though I can't speak for all men.
Though he says he can't speak for all men, but speaking for one white man, that's what he
There
says.
you
So
go.
anyway, yeah,
That's
so testicle dagger. So it was a fashion statement and a weapon.
yeah.
Which would it's like, and then you would wear it in that manner. I was like, I think you would have, it
Yeah.
was like, I think like you'd sit down and you cut yourself. I was like, oh, I got to take off, just leave your penis out of your pants. I'm like, hey, look, here's my testicles and my penis, and you could call that your testicle dagger. I'm like, hey, here's my testicle dagger, ladies. Yeah. So that sent me down a rabbit hole of imagination.
Yes, well done.
Thank you.
That was good. That
Yeah.
was awesome. So,
Mhm.
well,
Yeah.
okay. So I believe, yeah, I can't get over because you sent me the article and I looked at it and I couldn't quite visualize it. This is a good
Mhm.
visualization that you just have
Yeah.
daggers that they themselves, the hilts look like penises.
The hilts look like
Mhm.
look like you have a set of, testicles. Your dagger is the penis, and you'd wear it in a manner that suggested that you had this like real big, sharp penis. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what Swedes were into in the 1400s, but it seems as though
No,
that is one of the things they were
that's
into.
that's the thing. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Well,
No.
here. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. So you did it, ladies and gentlemen. You have survived another hour with the Brother Sisters where you learned things about stuff. This week, you learned about stuff that was not really news, but managed to get printed anyway.
Mhm.
We talked about everything from Pedro Pascal's arms to the best burgers to penis daggers to the Karen Reed trial to super smart Cooper's Hawks and why, again,
Floral
the whole hot
prints.
dog bun discrepancy. So there you
Yeah.
go. So
Mhm.
you learned a lot this week, even if it wasn't really I don't know, there was some smart, there was some dumb. It was fun,
It
but
was
you did
fun.
it. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for Lisa. Thanks for making some comments. Looking forward to
Mhm.
seeing now Dying for Sex on Hulu.
Mhm.
So we got that going for us.
Yeah, and
So
Jeannie. Thanks, Jeannie.
no, that was um Lisa that
Oh,
told us that. But Jeannie Caselli joined us and gave us
she did.
she
She
had some
gave us
questions about the
the
testicle
penis
dagger, and I don't
testicle
I don't
dagger.
blame you.
Mhm.
Totally. Don't blame me that for even an instant. But yeah, you guys, thanks that we love it. Follow us, again, answer our poll questions, give us your questions, concerns, comments, and
Confession.
confessions. That's right.
Mhm.
Um next week, you guys, we will be doing a what do you call it? An encore
Encore.
presentation next week. An encore presentation because Anne's got to go to the great state of Minnesota for a wedding.
Mhm.
So,
Going to Duluth.
beautiful scenic Duluth, maybe
Mhm.
up to see what's it called? The pie place?
Betty's Pies.
Maybe up the road to Betty's Pies. And why wouldn't you go to Betty's Pies? Because
Yeah.
Betty's Pies is delicious.
Exactly.
So we'll see you the week after that when we are going to talk about some serious garage sailing because the Congress Street yard sales are happening in just 2 short weeks.
That's right. Normal Park neighborhood yard sales,
That's right, the
June
normal park.
7th.
So encore presentation next week, and then we will be back to talk about our garage sailing, yard sailing experience. It will be fantastic. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and get this thing going because this lets you know that we're done for another week. That's right. So again, you guys, we will see you live in 2 weeks. Join us next week for our encore presentation of whatever. In the meantime, I'm Janice Brothers, and with me is my sister.
And Brothers.
That's right. We want you to get out there and do something smart, do something dumb, or do something fun. We're out of here.